Today I am bringing you my September TBR. We are going to be talking about some books that I'm hoping to read next month, including the books that I hope to read for the Magical Readathon, which, if you don't know, is a readathon that's hosted by G at Book Roast. I'll leave G's announcement video linked in the description just in case you would like to find out more if you've never heard of the Magical Readathon before. I feel like it's quite a popular readathon on BookTube. I've taken part most years. I don't think I did last year, but I did the spring Equinox earlier this year, and I'm very excited to continue down my chosen career path. The basic concept behind this readathon is you are a student at a magic school. There are different callings or career paths that you can choose, and in order to fulfill your chosen career path, you have to complete certain lessons, and there's different prompts for the different lessons. So I have to, for this round, if I want to complete my calling of tome binder, that's the one I've gone for this year. I've done a different career path every year that I've taken part in the Magical Readathon, but this year for the autumn equinox for the tome binder career path, I need to read 4 books. There's 3 lessons that I need to complete, but for one of the lessons I need to get a Q grade, which means reading 2 books. So we're actually going to kick things off by talking about some books that I'm not going to be reading for the Magical Readathon. Some of the books that I have planned for vlogs and that I can fit into Magical Readathon prompts. Some of them I haven't been able to, and then there's one prompt that I need to do on camera because it's one that, yeah, it's gamified. You'll see what I mean once we get into it. But first up, the first book that I'm actually going to be picking up today, I'm filming this on Monday the 25th of August. I am planning to start The Bone Hunters by Stephen Erickson. I almost used this for Magical Readathon prompt, and then I realised that it didn't fit, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But this is the 6th book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I have enjoyed this series so far. I haven't given any of the books 5 stars though. Most of them are like solid 4 stars. I'm hoping this will finally be the one that's a new favourite for me. It's quite a long one as well. How many pages are in this edition? Okay, so including the glossary at the back, there are 991 pages in this book. I'm going to be reading it on my Kindle because my partner has read this series before, thankfully, and he bought all of the ebooks at the time. So I'll be reading this on my Kindle because this is quite heavy. And yeah, hopefully it won't take me the whole month to read because, like I said, I can't use this for a Magical Readathon prompt. There's one main reading vlog concept that I would also like to work on throughout September, and that is reading books by authors that I've previously given 5 stars. I've done that concept a couple of times already this year. However, this time I want to add an extra layer. So I'm going to be reading books by authors where I've read one other book from them in the past, given that book 5 stars, but I want to find out if they were one-hit wonders. So first up, I'm going to finally be picking up The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich. This is the same author who wrote The Measure, one of my favourite books of last year. This is another speculative novel about grief and a controversial treatment centre, I think it's in the California desert, that claims to be able to heal people of grief. So you go to this treatment centre, you fall into a deep sleep, and when you wake up, apparently they will have cured you. I'm using quotation marks because I'm not really sure what type of approach this book is going to have. Apparently there are consequences if you go through this treatment centre. What I liked about The Measure is how Nikki Erlich took the concept and explored it with so much detail, and it was just very thought-provoking, and I'm hoping to get a similar feeling from The Poppy Fields. But I haven't heard anyone talking about this yet, so it will be interesting to see what I think. I feel like this one hasn't been as well received, but hopefully I still enjoy it. The next book that I'm planning to pick up for that vlog is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. This is the author of The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which was one of my favourite books of a few years ago. I think I read it in 2023, and I have been waiting years for this book. I think it was initially scheduled to come out last year, then it was pushed back and it was pushed back again, but it's finally out, and the reviews that I've seen so far have been pretty positive. Apparently it's not set in the same world as The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It's another witchy book, it's a cozy fantasy, but it's a different world from what I gather. So in this we're following a main character who is exiled from her guild after using forbidden magic to resurrect her grandmother. They now run an inn in Lancashire, and yeah, they have all of these quirky guests that come to stay, but the plot involves the main character discovering an old spell that may help to restore her magic, and there's this grumpy guy that ends up helping her. He's a magical historian, and everyone is shocked and surprised when he agrees to help her with this situation, and I think it's a romance. I'm assuming it's a romance. Not that the book is a romance, but that there is going to be a romance between these characters. And yeah, like I said, I've been waiting so long for this book. I'm hoping I really love it. The third book that I have planned for that vlog is The Good House by Tanana Reeve Dew. This is the author of The Reformatory, another of my favourite books from last year. My partner has just read this. He literally finished it yesterday and he also really enjoyed it. He read it on my recommendation and I'm really happy that he ended up liking it. But from what I gather, The Good House is a slightly older book. I think it came out in the early 2000s, and it follows a main character who 2 years ago went through some kind of family tragedy. In the present day, she started to move past her grief and decides to return to the house where this happened, which was her grandmother's house. However, things don't feel right, and from what I gather, I think this is going to have paranormal elements, and I think it's going to be a haunted house story. That is the vibe that I'm picking up on. But very interested to see what I think of this because The Reformatory was fantastic. I loved Tanana Reeve Dew's writing. Technically, I have read a short story by her, but I'm not going to count that for the sake of this reading vlog concept. If I have time, I might try and read a fourth book, but those are the 3 books that I'm going to focus on for that particular vlog. And yeah, we're now going to move on to my Magical Readathon at TBR. One of those books that I've just mentioned I am using for the Magical Readathon. The rest I'm going to read outside of the readathon. But the first prompt that I need to complete for the Magical Readathon is Art of Illusion. I need an O level, which means only reading 1 book. The prompt is to read a book with an autumn setting, either the cover or the story itself. And I've put down Catabasis by R.F. Kuang for this because I really want to read this in September. I feel like the cover is kind of autumnal. It's also an academic book. I don't know whether it's dark academia, but it involves academics going on this quest through the underworld. So I feel like I can count this. I am really excited to read this because I have enjoyed most books that I've read by R.F. Kuang. Next up is Spells and Incantations, and for this I need to roll a 6-sided dice and read a book within that page bracket. So I'm going to do that now because I haven't done it yet. I thought it would be more fun to do it on camera, so let's see if this works. It's a 3. I don't know if you can see that. So I think that means I need to read a book that has 300 and something pages. I've just double checked and The Poppy Fields by Nikki Ehrlich would count for this prompt because it has 324 pages. So that means I don't have to add an extra book to my TBR, which is fantastic. Love it when that happens. The final class that I need to complete is Inscription. However, I need to read 2 prompts for this class. The first is to read a book that has a prime number of letters in the title, and do you know how difficult this was? And you know what's really annoying is Bone Hunters without the has 11 letters, which is a prime number. However, because the title is The Bone Hunters, I don't feel like I can count this. There were a few other options that I was looking into. Night Watching by Tracy Sierra is a suspense thriller that has 13 letters, so that would work. The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim has 17 letters, so that would work. Talon Sister by Jen Williams has 11 letters, so again, that would work. However, the book that I decided to go with, and initially I didn't realise that this would fit because I counted the number of letters wrong, but A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana has 31 letters, so quite a high number, but I've double checked and it's a prime number of letters, so that's the one that I'm going to be using for this prompt. The second prompt that I need to read for Inscription is read a book that has a vertical spine title. So for example, Bone Hunters wouldn't count because this is horizontal. And again, this was really difficult. If you also had to complete the Inscription class, let me know if you also found it really tricky, because I think the prompts for this lesson were so hard. But eventually I found a book that will count, and that is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, because if you look at the spine, that is a vertical title. I have never read this. I've never read an Agatha Christie book, which is something that I've been meaning to correct for many years. I think my partner bought me this when we first started dating, which would have been back in 2022. So I've had it for a few years, and I don't think I'm going to read this copy. I think I'm going to get it on my Kindle, because from what I've seen, Agatha Christie books are actually quite cheaper on Kindle. So I'm not going to read this nice edition, but I am excited to read my first Agatha Christie. I was thinking about doing a reading vlog where I read a few over the next few months and put them all together into a vlog. Let me know if you would be interested in that, and let me know whether you would want that to be spoilery or spoiler free. I think this is the Agatha Christie book that I've been spoiled for. I was at a murder mystery night last year or the year before, and one of my friends just casually dropped a spoiler for this book, and my face, I was like, are you joking? Seriously? And everyone was like, how did you not know that was like the twist in this book? I've never seen an adaptation of Murder on the Orient Express, and I've obviously never read the book, so I had no idea. So that's a shame, but I'm sure that I'm still going to enjoy it. And there's a few other Agatha Christie books that I would like to try that I haven't heard spoilers for. I've heard The Murder of Roger Ackroyd has one of the best twists in any of her books, so that is quite high on my list. And then There Were None I've also never read, but I've read so many retellings of it that I feel like it would be good to go back and read the source material or the book that inspired other books. But yeah, that I think brings us to the end of the TBR. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments if you are also taking part in the Magical Readathon and what you're hoping to read. Let me know what call-in you're going for, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, but otherwise I will see you next time. Bye.